The bus went dark at 1:43 a.m., and for one breath the whole cabin sounded like a held scream. A metal latch snapped somewhere near row 20. Bruno lunged into the aisle, and Cal's arm shot out across Mina's chest before her mother could pull her back. Rosa's cracked phone slid off her lap, hit the rubber floor, and skidded under a seat streaked with road salt. 3 rows ahead, a man in a camel coat stopped mid-step, one hand inside his briefcase, eyes fixed on the little hearing device behind Mina's ear. "Don't touch her," Cal said, voice low, steady, the kind that did not ask twice. "I'm just getting my charger," the man said. "Then get it from your own row," Rosa snapped, breath shaking in the diesel-thick air. Bruno stood like a barricade, paws planted wide on the sticky aisle mat, a soft growl vibrating through his chest. The bus smelled of wet wool, old vinyl, and burnt station coffee gone sour in paper cups. Outside the fogged windows, sleet hissed against the glass in silver lines. Inside, no one moved. "Mama," Mina whispered, fingers searching Rosa's sleeve, "why is the dog protecting me?" "Eyes on me, sweetheart," Rosa said. "Just me." From the back, a college kid in a red beanie leaned over his seat. "Driver, lights, now!" "I'm trying," the driver shouted. "Panel's frozen." A woman with a nurse badge clutched the pole by the stairs. "Sir, step away from that child." The man in the camel coat gave a small smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Everyone needs to calm down." Then another voice cut through from row 11, sharp and breathless. First, there was a white guy at the terminal mirror. Now him. Same watch, same questions. They followed them from Philadelphia. Cal didn't turn his head. "Rosa, did anyone at the clinic ask about this route?" Her jaw tightened. She could still smell hand sanitizer and reheated soup from the waiting room, still see the polished badge, still hear that smooth voice. "Bus 47 tonight, right?" Mina's backpack zipper, repaired with a keyring, trembled against Rosa's knee. "Yes," Rosa said. "They knew our seats." Mina swallowed and looked straight at the man in the aisle. "You looked at my ear first, not my face." The bus went quieter than snow. Someone's vending machine crackers spilled, tiny clicks across the floor like teeth. Cal shifted one step forward. Bruno mirrored him, nose lifted, locked on the briefcase. Rosa's hand slid into her coat pocket and closed around the folded clinic receipt with the date stamped in blue. January 14th. "Open your hands," the nurse said. "No," the man replied. "But to understand what happened, we need to go back to where it all began." Before we continue, subscribe and tell us where you're watching from. At 5:10 a.m., Rosa Alvarez's alarm buzzed across a cracked phone screen taped at one corner with clear packing tape. She shut it off before the second buzz could wake the neighbors, swung her feet onto a cold floor, and pulled on thrift store sweatpants with a bleach stain near the knee. The apartment smelled like radiator heat and last night's reheated lentil soup. The fun is just beginning. Tell us what city you're from in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The tension is rising. Who's watching from where? Like and subscribe to the channel. More to come. Tell us in the comments who's from which country, and give us a like and subscribe. The plot thickens. Let's check our geography. Tell us where you are now, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe. We're just warming up. Tell us where you're watching from. Give the video a like and hit the subscribe button. The climax is near. Share where you're from, like, and be sure to subscribe. Events are unfolding rapidly. Write your city in the chat, give it a like, and subscribe so you don't get lost. The juiciest part is yet to come. Let's get started. Get to know each other. Where are you from? Like and subscribe right now. The suspense is building. Tell us where you're watching this episode from, and reward us with a like and a subscribe. The excitement is running high. Tell us what city you're from now. Give us a big like and subscribe to the channel. In the kitchenette, she stirred instant oatmeal in a chipped mug with a cartoon sun faded to pale yellow. "Mina, up!" she called softly, tapping twice on the bedroom door the way the audiologist taught her. "Clinic day." From under a blanket printed with tiny moons, Mina pushed herself up and blinked. "Is it the long bus clinic or the close one?" "The long one," Rosa said. "Downtown. They had one opening at 11:40. Mina touched the hearing device behind her ear and nodded. "Can I wear the blue hoodie?" "The one with the loose cuff." "The loose cuff is lucky." Rosa smiled and set a plate with half a banana and toast on the table. The toast was uneven, one edge pale and the other nearly burnt, and Mina still ate the dark side first, like she always did. On the fridge, held by a pizza menu magnet, Mina's school drawing showed 3 stick figures at a bus stop: Mina, Rosa, and a tall one labeled Papa with a dotted outline. Rosa's fingers lingered on that dotted line for 1 second, then moved to her wallet. "Rent's due the 12th, she murmured, counting bills. "Electric on the 18th. We stay tight till Friday." Mina zipped her backpack, the broken zipper pull replaced with a brass keyring. "Do they charge for snacks at the station?" "They charge for breathing at the station." Mina grinned. "Then we breathe at home." By 6:22, Rosa was in the hospital laundry basement on Girard Avenue, fluorescent lights flickering like tired eyelids above rolling carts. Steam carried the sharp smell of detergent and hot cotton, and the concrete floor held yesterday's damp in darker patches. Rosa fed sheets into the press with practiced wrists, while her supervisor checked a clipboard by the rumbling dryers. "Alvarez," he said, not looking up, "you still leaving at 10:30? "Clinic appointment," she answered. "Clock out clean. Last week payroll bounced 2 signatures. Rosa tightened her jaw. "I'll sign whatever they need." During break, she sat on an upside-down crate beside a vending machine that hummed louder than conversation. She ate a turkey sandwich on wheat wrapped in foil, saved half for Mina, and scrolled bus options with her thumb. Route 47 was $34 each if she bought before noon. After noon, it jumped to $41. She called her sister, Elena, while the machine dropped someone else's crackers with a hollow clack. "Can you cover pickup at 3? "I can't," Elena said, traffic noise in the background. "Double shift at the pharmacy." "Then Mina stays with me all day." "Rosa, that's a lot." "I know." At 10:37, she changed in a restroom stall that smelled of lemon cleaner and wet paper towels, swapping scrubs for black jeans and a gray parka with a missing top button. In the lobby, Mina waited on a vinyl chair with her notebook open, drawing bus windows in neat squares. She looked up when Rosa approached and held out a crumpled permission slip. "Teacher says science fair fee is $9, Mina said. "Not today, just this week." Rosa exhaled through her nose and tucked the paper into her pocket. "This week." Outside, winter wind pushed grit along the curb, and the city buses sighed at each stop like tired lungs. As they reached the clinic entrance at 11:31, a man in a tailored navy coat held the glass door for them, smiling too quickly. "You're here for audiology?" he asked. "Mina Alvarez, right?" The clinic lobby on Market Street shone like a hotel, white tile reflecting pendant lights, lemon scent drifting from a diffuser near the reception desk. Rosa's thrift store parka dripped melted sleet onto the polished floor, while a woman in heels clicked past with a leather tote that probably cost more than Rosa's monthly groceries. Mina sat close, knees together, pressing her repaired keyring zipper flat against her backpack. The front desk printer chirped every few seconds, spitting out appointment slips like tiny tickets to somewhere expensive. "Name?" the receptionist asked without looking up. "Rosa Alvarez, Mina Alvarez, 1140 Audiology." The receptionist tapped her keyboard. "You're checked in. Please keep your phone volume low." Mina leaned toward Rosa. "Her nails are longer than my pencils." Rosa hid a smile. "Eyes on your notebook, baby." At 11:46, the man in the navy coat appeared again, now with a clipped badge and perfect teeth. His cologne smelled clean and sharp, nothing like the hospital bleach Rosa carried in her sleeves. He crouched to Mina's height, careful smile, palms visible. "I'm Gavin Shore, patient experience liaison," he said. "Mina, still liking that blue hoodie?" Mina blinked. "How do you know my hoodie?" "Your chart notes," Gavin said lightly. "We track comfort preferences." Rosa's fingers tightened around her cracked phone case. "Why would clothing be in a chart?" "Holistic care," he replied, "makes children less anxious." A technician in lavender scrubs opened door 3 and waved them in. The exam room was too cold, metal tray gleaming under fluorescent buzz, hand sanitizer stinging the air. Mina sat on a paper-covered chair while the technician adjusted the device behind her ear with a tiny silver driver. Gavin stayed in the corner, smiling at his tablet. "Routine calibration," the technician said. 2 minutes. Rosa stepped forward. "Does calibration usually involve opening the back plate?" The technician didn't meet her eyes. "New protocol." Gavin added, "Our partner program upgraded components this quarter." Mina winced and touched her ear. "It feels hot." "Temporary," the technician said. "Like static." Rosa heard the word partner and watched Gavin's polished shoes instead of his face. No scuffs, no winter salt. Someone who moved from parking garages to elevators, never sidewalks. He turned his tablet slightly away, but she caught a line on the screen. Transit sync confirmed. "What does that mean?" she asked. Gavin looked up too quickly. "Insurance coding." Mina frowned. "Why does insurance need buzzwords?" No one answered for a beat. The fluorescent light flickered once, then steadied. In the hallway, as they left, Gavin walked beside them past framed photos of smiling families under soft studio light. "Long trip home?" he asked. "2 buses," Rosa said. "Actually, tonight it's intercity, right?" Gavin said. "Philadelphia to Richmond, bus 47. Rosa stopped near the vending machine, the hum filling the silence. "Who told you our bus number?" "We help coordinate access," Gavin said. "Continuity of care." Mina tugged Rosa's sleeve. "Mama, can we go?" At checkout, the printer jammed and coughed out a half page with barcodes and a red header. Asset transfer queue. The clerk snatched it fast, cheeks flushing. "Wrong print job," she muttered. Rosa held out her hand. "That has my daughter's name." "It doesn't," the clerk said, folding the paper once, then again. "You're all set." Outside at 12:18, wind slapped sleet against the bus shelter glass, and Mina rubbed behind her ear with 2 fingers. "It's still warm," she said. She pulled off her knit cap and froze. A tiny new sticker sat on the device casing, silver and square, printed with black text no bigger than rice. TR-47/01-14/live. By 8:52 p.m., the Philadelphia terminal smelled of diesel fumes, wet concrete, and burnt pretzels from a kiosk closing its metal shutter. Rosa stood under Gate 12's flickering sign, with Mina tucked against her side, counting folded bills in her glove. 2 tickets had cost $68, and the vending machine wanted $4.50 for crackers she put back twice. "Water only," Rosa said, handing Mina a bottle cold enough to sting her fingers. I'm not hungry, Mina lied. Rosa touched her cheek. She doesn't have to lie to save money. The waiting area benches were molded blue plastic, cracked at the edges where tape had peeled away. A white man in a cream scarf stood by the pillar mirror, pretending to scroll while watching their reflection more than his screen. Mina tracked him without moving her head, the way she watched pigeons from their kitchen window. "Mama, Mirror Man looked when I touched this," she whispered, tapping the silver sticker behind her ear. "Don't touch it now," Rosa said. "Cap on, keep warm." "Why is he smiling with no eyes?" Rosa swallowed. "Some people do that." The loudspeaker popped and hissed, then announced a delayed arrival in a flat voice that bounced off the high ceiling. A large shepherd mix with a graying muzzle lay near a duffel bag marked with faded rescue patches, calm as stone despite the noise. Next to him sat a broad-shouldered man in a navy knit cap, dark skin, thick afro, worn field jacket, hands quiet on a paper cup. Mina stared. "Big dog." The man glanced up. "Bigger napper than anything." Rosa gave a cautious nod. "He's service?" "Retired search and rescue," he said. "Name's Bruno. He only bothers trouble." A woman in a camel coat wrinkled her nose as she passed, perfume sharp and expensive. "Dogs shouldn't be in a public terminal," she muttered. The man scratched Bruno behind the ear and kept his voice level. "He's legal and leashed," she snorted. "Still looks dangerous." Mina answered before Rosa could. "He looks tired, like my mom." At 9:11, boarding started in a crush of coats and rolling suitcases, wheels rattling over wet tile. Rosa's phone buzzed with an unknown number while she helped Mina onto the first step. The text preview flashed across the cracked screen. "Running late? Holding 18C/18D. She froze. "Who texted?" Mina asked. "I don't know." Inside, the bus smelled of old vinyl, hand sanitizer, and snow-damp wool packed too close together. Seat tags glowed overhead in pale green, and 18C/18D sat mid-cabin exactly where the text said. Across the aisle, the same white man from the mirror folded his scarf and pretended not to look. Rosa leaned toward Mina. "Window or aisle?" "Window. Less people bump me." "Okay, backpack under seat." Zip closed. A shadow fell across their row before they sat. It was the man with Bruno, ticket in hand, eyes scanning the aisle in one clean sweep. "Excuse me," he said. "Seat 18B. Is this seat taken?" Mina shifted her knees and nodded. "Not now." He gave a small smile. "Then we're neighbors." As he lifted his duffel, Bruno's ears flicked toward the front door. A second man stepped onto the bus, dark-skinned with an afro and a camel coat, gaze landing instantly on Mina's ear, then on Rosa's bag, then on Cal's dog. Cal's jaw tightened, and Bruno rose without command, silent and alert, blocking half the aisle before anyone understood why. By 9:34 p.m., Bus 47 had cleared the city lights, and the cabin settled into that heavy overnight rhythm of phone glow and muffled coughs. Heater air blew metallic and dry from vents above row 18, making the old vinyl seats feel warm on top and cold at the seams. Rosa unfolded the clinic receipt on her knee, smoothing it with her thumb, while Mina drew tiny window squares in her notebook. Across the aisle, the white scarf man pretended to sleep with one eye barely open. Cal kept his voice low, eyes on the reflection in the dark glass. "That sticker on her device, how long has it been there?" "Since today," Rosa said. "Clinic adjustment." "What clinic?" "Rivergate Audiology." Cal nodded once. Bruno flagged the man who boarded last, didn't flag anyone else. Mina leaned between them, smelling faintly of apple shampoo and station air. "He looked at my ear 2 times. Cal gave her a small, serious look. Which he? The mirror man first, then coat man with the afro. Rosa tucked Mina's scarf tighter. Baby, keep your voice down. I am, Mina whispered. My quiet is just honest. At 10:12, the bus missed the signed stop near Wilmington and stayed on the highway, tires humming over wet pavement. A few passengers lifted their heads, confused by the skipped exit lights sliding past the fogged windows. The driver's speaker crackled with static before his voice came through flat and rushed. Quick route adjustment due to terminal congestion, he said. A man near row 7 answered, No alert on the app. Estimated delay 13 minutes, the driver replied. Cal murmured to Rosa, That's not a weather call, that's a rendezvous call. Rosa's cracked phone buzzed again in her coat pocket. She opened the message under her parka sleeve, screen brightness turned low. Keep device on child. Do not remove. Her breath shortened. She showed Cal without a word. Bruno stretched near Cal's boots, lifted his head, and stared at the aisle before any footsteps came. Who has this number? Cal asked. School, hospital, my sister, nobody else. Somebody else has it now. Mina looked up. Mama, why are your hands shaking? The camel coat man stood and moved forward 2 rows, one hand grazing seatbacks as if counting them. The white scarf man did the same from the opposite side, closing the space around row 18 without ever looking at each other. Overhead, a fluorescent panel flickered 3 times, then steadied. Cal spoke without turning. They're bracketing. Rosa swallowed. For what? For transfer. Transfer of what? Cal's jaw set. Whatever they hid in that device. A nurse in burgundy scrubs across the aisle pretended to search her tote while listening. She smelled like peppermint gum and hand lotion, and her hospital badge swung against the seat as the bus hit a pothole. She whispered, I heard them at boarding. Confirm live tag before Richmond. Their words. Rosa stared. You're sure? The nurse nodded. I don't scare easy. That scared me. Mina asked softly, Am I carrying something bad? Rosa pulled her close. No, she is carrying my daughter, that's all. At 10:27, the driver announced an unscheduled shoulder stop near mile marker 141 for a systems check, though the dashboard lights looked normal through the open partition. Rain tapped harder on the roof, sharp and fast. The white scarf man stood. The camel coat man stood. Bruno rose first, silent, shoulders squared, blocking the aisle before either man took one more step. Then the nurse hissed, Look at his wrist! Rosa followed her gaze and froze. The camel coat man wore the same silver clinic visitor band Gavin Shore had on at noon, now half hidden under his sleeve, dated January 14th. Rain thudded on the roof in hard, uneven bursts, while bus 47 idled on the shoulder, hazard lights painting the wet windows red-orange-red. The heater clicked off, and cold crept back through the aisle, carrying the smell of damp coats and engine oil. Rosa kept Mina tucked against her, thumb rubbing circles over the frayed cuff of the blue hoodie. Up front, the driver spoke into his radio in a voice too soft to hear. Don't stare at them, Cal said, eyes on the black window reflection instead of the men. I'm not staring, Rosa whispered. I'm counting. Counting what? Breaths. Mine. Hers. Mina looked up. And theirs. They breathe fast. The nurse in burgundy, her badge reading Tasha L., shifted into the empty seat behind Rosa, vinyl squeaking under her weight. Peppermint gum and hand lotion cut through the diesel smell for a second. She kept her gaze on her tote while she spoke. I texted my charge nurse at 10:31, Tasha murmured. No signal sent yet. Cal nodded. Save battery. When bars pop, send location and bus number only. Rosa swallowed. Who are they? Cal's jaw tightened. Not random. Coordinated pickup team. Across the aisle, the white scarf man leaned toward the camel coat man, voices low but not low enough when the bus went still. The words slid between seatbacks like cold air. Live tag confirmed. Windows shrinking. Then do it before Richmond. Mina's fingers found Rosa's wrist. Mama, what is live tag? Rosa opened her mouth and nothing came out. Cal answered gently, It means something on this bus is being tracked. Mina touched the back of her ear. Me. Cal finally looked at Rosa fully, and in that glance, she saw old training clicking into place behind his eyes. Routes, timing, exits, pressure points. Bruno sat upright now, ears forward, nose working, body motionless, except for the faint tremor in his shoulders. Cal spoke in a voice used to storms. I worked maritime rescue 11 years, he said. Smugglers used passengers as blind mules, hidden pouches, swapped bags, fake help offers. Same pattern. One watcher, one closer, one cleaner. Rosa's hand flew to Mina's device. Can I take it off? Not yet, Cal said. If you force it and break the seal, they say evidence is contaminated. Tasha leaned closer, lowering her voice to a thread. At Rivergate, we got a memo last month about asset continuity. No plain language explanation. Admin told staff not to ask. Rosa stared. They used a children's clinic. Tasha's eyes shone under the dim light. Looks like they used trust. The bus door hissed open without announcement, and freezing air slapped down the aisle. No station lights, no building. Only a dark service road and an idling gray van 20 feet away, side door already open. The driver remained seated, hands locked at 10 and 2. A man in a reflective vest stepped onto the first stair holding a clipboard. Equipment check, he called. Quick transfer and we're moving. Cal didn't blink. Show terminal ID. The man smiled thinly. No time for that. Rosa felt Mina shaking now, small and fast, like a trapped bird under winter fabric. She bent close enough for Mina to feel each word. Listen to Mama. Keep your chin down. Mama, Mina whispered, voice cracking. Did they put work stuff in my ear? Rosa shut her eyes for one beat, then opened them hard. Yes, and we're taking it back. Bruno stood, silent, blocking the aisle again. Then Rosa's cracked phone lit in her palm with one new bar of signal and a delayed voicemail transcription from an unknown number. If passenger resists, remove child from guardian. Cold air kept pouring through the half-open door, carrying wet asphalt and the faint exhaust stink of the gray van idling outside. The man in the reflective vest stayed on the first stair, clipboard angled like a badge, rain beating on his shoulders. Inside, the bus lights buzzed weakly, turning every face a pale green. Bruno stood rigid in the aisle, nails clicking once on the rubber floor, then going still. Route maintenance, the vest man called. Need 5 minutes with the child's medical unit. Cal answered without raising his voice. Show company ID and dispatch code. The man smiled at the wrong people. Sir, don't escalate. Rosa pulled Mina tighter. She's not equipment. From row 7, an older man with a grocery tote leaned over the seatback, pretzels and newspaper peeking from the top. Driver, he said, why are we stopped at a service road with no marker? The driver kept both hands on the wheel, jaw flexing. Wind slapped sleet against the windshield in hard bursts. The driver spoke into the aisle mirror. Unexpected systems check. Cal's eyes narrowed. Say the mile marker. A beat. Then, 141. Tasha whispered, That's what I heard them say before boarding. Mina's breath shook against Rosa's coat sleeve. She opened her notebook on her knees, and wrote in block letters with a chewed pencil. Same watch. Then she drew 2 circles, one by white scarf, one by camel coat, and added the same tiny diamond shape on both wrists. Rosa stared at the drawing, fingertips cold despite the heater. "Mama," Mina said, voice thin but steady. "If adults knew, why didn't they stop it?" Rosa swallowed hard. "Some adults are stopping it now." Cal crouched so Mina could see his face. "That drawing helps. Keep it." Tasha slid her phone into camera mode beneath her tote, lens peeking through the strap gap, blue screen glow on her knuckles. She whispered toward the driver, "I can timestamp faces if the interior light holds." The driver gave the smallest nod, eyes fixed ahead. 30 seconds, Cal murmured. "When I count 3, everyone records silently." The grocery tote man lifted his phone. "I'm in." A college kid in a red beanie from row 11 muttered, "Already rolling." The nurse exhaled once. "Good. Chain of proof." The white scarf man stepped into the aisle, forcing a relaxed grin. "People are overreacting. It's a compliance check." Cal kept his shoulders loose. "Name the compliance agency." "Private contractor." "Name it." The grin faded. "Not your concern." Rosa held up her cracked phone screen, showing the threat transcription. "This says remove child from guardian if she resists. Whose policy is that?" Her voice cut clean through the engine hum. Passengers shifted, murmuring now, coats rustling like dry leaves. The camel coat man moved 1 step forward. Bruno matched him, chest low, a warning rumble deep and controlled. The reflective vest man backed down 1 stair, glancing toward the van where another silhouette moved behind fogged glass. "Everybody calm down," the camel coat man said. "No one's taking anyone." Mina pointed at his wrist. "Then why are you wearing clinic plastic?" He yanked his sleeve down too late. Cal looked to the driver. "Lock the door. Kill interior data ports. Keep hazard lights on." The driver's hand hovered over the control panel. "If I lock, they push," Rosa answered before Cal could. "If he doesn't lock, they enter." For 1 second, all that existed was rain on metal, heater fan rattle, and Mina's pencil rolling off her notebook. Then the driver slammed the door control. The pneumatic seal hissed shut. Outside, the van's headlights snapped brighter, and 3 dark shapes started toward the bus. The 3 silhouettes outside moved through sleet toward the bus door, shoulders hunched, shoes splashing through shallow roadside water that reflected the hazard lights in broken red streaks. Inside, the air smelled like wet wool, overheated plastic, and fear held too long in closed lungs. The driver's knuckles went white on the wheel. Bruno stayed planted in the aisle, head low, eyes locked on the glass. "Everybody stay seated," Cal said, voice even. "Phone's recording, flash off." The red beanie kid nodded. "Still rolling." Tasha whispered, "Timestamp is 10:39 p.m. I've got faces and audio." Rosa pulled Mina's cap lower. "Baby, look at me, not the door." A hard knock hit the bus. Then another. The whole frame shivered with a metallic rattle that made 2 people gasp near row 5. Outside, the reflective vest man held up his clipboard again, smiling through rain like this was routine. "Open up," he shouted through the glass. "Official transfer check." Cal answered from mid-aisle, not moving. "State your dispatcher code." No answer. The man knocked again, louder. Rosa's chest rose fast under her gray parka, and she pressed her palm to Mina's back until the child's breathing matched her rhythm. She kept seeing the dotted father figure on Mina's fridge drawing, the empty space where someone should have stood and didn't. Her hand shook as she unlocked her cracked phone, then steadied when Mina touched her wrist. "Mama," Are they from my clinic? Mina asked. Rosa's jaw clenched. Some are. Then clinic lied? Yes, Rosa said, voice thin and sharp. And we're done letting them. Cal leaned close enough that only Rosa and Tasha could hear over the rain thump. We need one clean call on open line, full names, bus number, mile marker, child involved. Keep it factual. Tasha nodded. I'll send backup text if voice drops. The driver finally turned in his seat. Signal blinks 1 bar every 20 seconds. That's all we get. Rosa looked at the phone screen. 1 bar. Gone. 1 bar again. Outside, the camel coat man stepped into the headlight wash, lifted both hands, and mouthed something to the white scarf man. The white scarf man nodded once and moved toward the luggage bay instead of the door. Cal saw it in the window reflection, and his shoulders tightened. They're splitting tasks, he said. Door and cargo. Grocery tote man muttered, Can they open the lower bay? Not if driver keeps central lock, Cal replied. Sir, keep that lock engaged. Driver answered, It stays locked. Rosa stared at her contacts list, thumb hovering over Elena, over work supervisor, over emergency services. Safety meant silence, maybe getting through the night. Truth meant names, reports, statements, no hiding. She swallowed, wiped rainwater from the edge of the window with her sleeve, and made her choice. She picked up the phone and dialed the number. Tasha leaned in. Speaker on. We witness. Cal nodded once. Do it now. The call connected on the second ring with a thin digital hiss. Rosa spoke clearly, each word clipped by effort, while Bruno held the aisle, and Mina held her mother's coat sleeve like a lifeline. This is Rosa Alvarez on bus 47, mile marker 141, she said. My 9-year-old daughter's medical device was altered, and men connected to a clinic are trying to remove her from my custody. The dispatcher voice came through faint, but steady. Ma'am, stay on the line. Units are being directed. Another knock. Harder. Then a scraping sound at the luggage bay below their feet. Cal looked toward the rear emergency exit, then back to Rosa. They'll force a move before help arrives, he said quietly. We move first. Rosa stood, knees shaking, pulled Mina up behind Bruno, and stepped into the aisle toward the front of the bus, toward the door, toward whatever came next. At 10:47 p.m., the dispatcher told the driver to re-enter the highway and head for a staffed way station at mile 149. Lights on, cameras active. The bus pulled off the shoulder with a shudder, wipers smearing sleet into gray ribbons across the windshield, the gray van sliding in behind them like a shadow that refused to blink. Rosa stayed in the aisle beside seat 18, one arm around Mina, one hand gripping the phone on speaker. Bruno walked backward in front of them, never taking his eyes off the two men. Keep the line open, the dispatcher said through static. I'm here, Rosa answered. We are moving now. Cal said to the driver, No unscheduled stops. None, the driver replied. Not for anybody. By 11:03, the cabin was too quiet, full of wool sleeves brushing vinyl and the soft click of hidden recordings. The white scarf man sat near the rear panel, fingers tapping his knee in a steady count, while the camel coat man watched Mina in the window reflection instead of directly. Tasha held her phone low and whispered timestamps like a nurse reading vitals. 11:03, both subjects seated, she murmured. Red Beanie Kid whispered back, I've got clear faces, Grocery Tote Man muttered. My wife's watching this live now. At 11:11, the bus lights cut out in one hard blink. No warning, no dimming, just black. A latch clanged near row 20, someone yelped, and Rosa's phone slipped from her damp hand, bouncing across the rubber aisle. "Stay down," Cal said, voice sharp now. "Mina, hold my coat," Rosa said. "I have it," Mina whispered. "I'm here." Emergency strips sputtered on, weak blue along the floor, enough to show Bruno braced broadside in the aisle, and Cal's forearm locked in front of Mina's chest. The smell of hot wiring mixed with wet coats and old coffee. The camel coat man had moved 3 rows closer in the dark. "Sit back," Cal warned. "I'm helping," the man said. "Then help by stopping." The white scarf man rose too, hands open, smile thin. "Everybody breathe. Compliance transfer, that's all." Rosa's voice cracked, then hardened. "Transfer of what? Say it loud." He glanced at the dark window. "A storage module. No one gets hurt." Mina spoke into the silence, small and clear. "I'm not a storage module." A tinny voice spilled from the camel coat man's earpiece, loud enough for 3 rows to hear over rain. "Retrieve the unit from the pediatric carrier and clear before Richmond," the voice said. Tasha's camera caught his profile and the clinic wristband when his sleeve slid back. Cal didn't move, but his jaw tightened until the muscle jumped. Rosa bent, snatched up her phone, and shouted toward the speaker. "Dispatcher, did you hear that?" "Affirmative," came the reply. "Units are 1 minute out." The driver yelled, "Lights ahead!" Red and blue flashes flooded the bus interior through rain-streaked glass, turning faces into snapshots, shock, anger, tears, disbelief. The driver braked at the checkpoint canopy, and official vehicles boxed in the gray van before it could reverse. The door hissed open to cold night air and reflective jackets. "Hands visible," an officer called. White scarf man tried to step into the crowd. "I'm just a passenger." Mina pointed, arm trembling but steady. Not him first. The right briefcase, brown latch. That's what he kept touching. Bruno shifted left and blocked the aisle exactly where the camel coat man tried to pass, silent and immovable. Tasha handed over her footage, the red beanie kid offered his live stream, and the grocery tote man passed his call log with shaking fingers. Rosa held Mina while a medical responder, gloved and calm, checked the device and sealed a tiny removed component in a clear evidence pouch. The dispatcher's voice was still on Rosa's speaker when one name finally reached the officers from the captured earpiece contact list. Gavin Shore. Rosa closed her eyes, pressed her forehead to Mina's hair, and exhaled like she had been holding breath for 11 years. Checkpoint floodlights turned the sleet into silver threads, and the bus lot smelled of wet asphalt, diesel, and bitter coffee from a vending cart rolled out by security. Rosa sat on a folding chair under a canvas awning, emergency blanket scratchy over her shoulders, while Mina drank warm cocoa from a paper cup with both hands. Bruno lay across their shoes, heavy and calm, as if pinning the night in place. A detective in a Navy rain shell knelt to Mina's eye level. "Can she tell us what she noticed first?" Rosa nodded. "Only if she wants to." Mina pointed at her notebook, pages wrinkled from damp fingers. "Same watch on 2 men, same diamond mark." The detective exhaled. "That helped us connect the team." Inside the temporary command trailer, heater fans hummed and made everyone's coats smell faintly of hot plastic. Cal stood by a metal table while officers logged devices into clear evidence bags, each sealed with a time sticker. Tasha handed over her phone recording with steady hands, then finally sat down and cried into a napkin she had been gripping for an hour. Cal looked at Rosa. She saved more than herself tonight. Rosa's eyes filled. He did too. She glanced at Bruno. Tasha gave a tired half laugh. Whole bus did. The driver, still pale, whispered, "I almost opened that door." By dawn, station coffee had gone cold, and the fluorescent lights in the interview room buzzed like insects. Officials confirmed the altered component had been inserted during clinic calibration, tied to a private data theft ring hiding transfers through assistive equipment. Gavin Shore and multiple contractors were formally identified through logs, wristband links, and passenger video. Rosa signed 3 statements, thumb cramped, then asked one question. "Will families be told?" A case officer answered, "Yes, everyone we can find." Mina tugged Rosa's sleeve. "So no more kids carry secrets?" The officer looked down. "That is the goal." 6 months later, their apartment smelled of fresh paint near the radiator instead of mildew, and sunlight reached the kitchen table through clean glass Rosa had scrubbed on her first free Sunday. She had moved to a day-shift lead role in hospital laundry, $2.15 more per hour, predictable weekends twice a month. Mina's new assistive device came through a verified public program, and she wore it with stickers she chose herself: stars, a tiny dog, and one bright blue heart. "Mama, toast is burning," Mina called, laughing as the smoke alarm chirped once. Rosa flipped the bread and grinned. "Then breakfast is on schedule." Elena dropped by with oranges and said, "Rent paid early? Look at Ms. Responsible." Rosa tapped the calendar. 2nd month in a row. On a mild Saturday, they met Cal and Bruno at a community clinic garden where raised beds smelled of mint and wet soil. Bruno wore a new red bandana, and Mina clipped a paper medal to it that read, "Best Guardian." Cal had started part-time safety consulting for transit crews, teaching de-escalation and passenger protection without panic. Mina hugged Bruno's neck. "He still remembers me." Cal smiled. "He remembers courage." Rosa looked at both of them and said quietly, "Real family isn't about blood. It's about showing up when it matters." Cal answered, "Then this bus built a family." That evening, Mina taped a new drawing to the fridge with a fresh magnet shaped like a bus. 3 figures stood at a stop in thick marker lines: Mina, Rosa, and Bruno between them, with Cal off to the side, holding a leash and waving. There was no dotted outline this time, no empty space, no missing person. If this story moved you, hit the like button and subscribe. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done in her place? And next time, we'll tell you about a janitor who found a locked suitcase under a courthouse bench